Good afternoon, everyone. We are honored today to have with us for our 38th Lunch and Learn series a very special guest speaker, Miss Alegria A. Javier Obien. Used to have a career in the banking sector until she made a decision to shift gears and dedicate her life to counseling and family ministry. She founded HESL Ministries and serves as principal facilitator of the seminar workshop Healing the Eight Stages of Life, which is what HECL stands for. She also serves as a resource person and senior counselor at the RMT Center for Family Ministries, or RMT CEFAM, at the Ateneo de Manila University, where she also earned a professional diploma and apprenticeship in pastoral ministry. On top of that, she also has an MA degree in pastoral ministry, also from Ateneo. Mrs. Obien is also a registered guidance counselor and active member of the Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association. She is also an associate member of the Psychological Association of the Philippines. At present, she is pursuing her PhD in development psychology at Miriam College. She has not completely turned her back on the world of finance. She has taught at the De La Salle University, Ramon del Rosario Graduate School of Business, and still conducts credit training workshops. But much of her time nowadays is focused largely on running HESL workshops, counseling at RMT CEFAM, and giving talks to various groups such as corporate institutions, schools, religious organizations, couples, parents and families, and parish organizations. Ms. Obien is also a media personality in her own right, widely known as Ate Baby to listeners of her radio program, God Will Make a Way, at Radio Veritas. She has also authored the book, A Path to Wholeness, Healing the Eight Stages of Life, on which the HESL workshop is based. It's currently available outside by the entrance. She was widowed by Mr. Ireneo R. Javier, by whom she has 7 children, and is currently married to Dr. Santiago Obien. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker for today, Ms. Alegria A. Javier Obien.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mitch, for that introduction. And first off, I'd like to thank your community for this opportunity to address you and to interact with you on a topic that has become, in fact, my life work. It's giving workshops, principally giving workshops based on this book, A Path to Wholeness, Healing the Eight Stages of Life. What really attracted me about Edith's invitation is that I found some affinity with you because I was a banker myself, and at the time when I was at the bank, I was also trying to balance my spiritual life with the corporate life. Corporate life can be so draining that you can neglect your spiritual life. That's why I also set up a group, just like your group here. I called it Friends of Jesus, which took care of activities like this, giving seminars and sponsoring masses in the bank. First it was just first Friday, then Wednesday, Friday, then it became every day. So up to the time that I left the bank, they were still going on with that activity. Okay, we have very little time, so I'll go right away. I do want to start with a healing prayer because what I'm talking to you about is about healing the 8 stages of life. So just be with me. Healing God, come to our hidden corners. Open the doors to our soul rooms that are tightly locked. Awaken us. Bring to life all our deadness. Enthuse the depressed emotions. Re-energize our inner weariness. bathe the grime of our ego-centeredness. Clarify our confusions, Lord, and fire our neglected loves. Brush off our dusty dreams, nurture our spiritual hungers, ease our sore relationships, and deepen our sense of self-esteem. Stir up our connections with the world. Tenderly gather in your arms all that still needs healing, all that remains wounded and wanting. As we gather together in your presence for this 1 hour, grant that we may be truly healed in body, mind, and spirit, and that we may grow into greater wholeness with a stronger, purer, inner freedom. All this we ask in the mighty name of Jesus, the intercession of Mary, our Mother, again in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen and amen. Good afternoon. At Radio Veritas, where I work, we don't, from good morning to good afternoon, we have modified it to say, magandang buhay. It's good life. So it encompasses everything. So, magandang buhay. Magandang buhay. Thank you. Okay. I'll skip this one, although I'm a wife, grandmother, mother, just like most of you here, teacher and mentor, author, radio anchor and workshop lecturer, family counselor, banker. But if you ask me what I'd like to be known for, just call me a lifelong learner. Just like you here, who I believe that learning never stops. Okay? So let me now go to the topic at hand. Actually, Edith was asking me to summarize or to give you an overview of the workshop, Healing the 8 Stages of Life workshop. Of course, time is too short to really put the details, but I tried to summarize it, and I hope it's short time that we have, and we will still have time for a sort of open forum, 10 to 15 minutes before the time. So I'll just go through it, and if you have questions later on, I'll be very glad to answer them. Okay, so I said I have formulated a module based on this book, Healing the 8 Stages of Life, and you have been giving this workshop for almost 40 years already, and it has, by the feedback that we get, it has helped a lot of people to enter the process of healing. So by going through this, I'll give you an idea on how it is. The objectives of the workshop is a heightened psychological awareness of the effects of childhood hurts on our behavior patterns. We aim also to have a holistic inner healing experience and insight into life's deeper meaning. And we hope that the workshop opens a way toward an integrated adult maturing. Okay, so there are 3 keywords here: awareness, holistic healing, and adult maturing. Let's go to awareness, because everything starts from awareness. Any personal growth, spiritual growth that we want to undergo in our journey has to start with awareness. It is known by many terms. It can be consciousness, realization, understanding, insight, cognizance, mindfulness, mindfulness is very in the mainstream today. I don't know if you've seen a copy of Time magazine in the late, but a few months ago we cover mindfulness, and it's also waking up. Waking up is from the mystics. They say that most of the time we live our lives asleep. We're like zombies. We have not really waken up. So, to put it in a more concrete term, I'd like to flash this picture. What do you see?
Iceberg.
Iceberg. And when you see an iceberg, what comes to your mind? Yes? What comes to your mind when you see an iceberg? Titanic. Yes. And what happened to the Titanic?
Sank.
It sank. The people drowned. Why do you think so? What happened? Why do you think so? It was touted to be the biggest and most wonderful ship ever created or ever built during that time. Why do you think so? It sank.
Part of the iceberg.
Hmm?
Part of the ship with the iceberg. What?
Part of the iceberg.
Part of the ship with the iceberg. And part of the ship.
Okay, yes. What else?
It was going too fast. So it hit the iceberg.
Yeah, that is what the captain saw. Yet it sank. Why so? What did he see? Only the tip of the iceberg. He saw only the tip of the iceberg, and he did not see what was at the bottom. And so, metaphorically, we can compare this with what we call our own personal iceberg. What we see is behavior, because it's conscious. It's what we see in others, it's what we see in us. But what we do not see that drives the behavior are the feelings, the expectations, the perceptions, and the yearnings of our heart, which drives the behavior. And because we do not see this, it comes out in reactions like hurt, fear, and anger. Like the Titanic that sank, we can also sink if we do not know what is inside the tip of the iceberg. Okay? Behavior is only the first level. What we do, what other people do, their actions, is only the first level. Do you ever think, when we see somebody behaving in a way, or even ourselves behaving in a certain way, do we ever stop to say, why did I do that? What was I thinking? What was my expectations? What was my perceptions? What was the desire of my heart? Yearnings. Because these are the drivers of our behavior. Okay? That is only the second level. And of course, your I am, your personal truth, and the third level is that we are all spiritual beings at this earth, and that is one thing that is common to all of us. So, awareness is the process of becoming fully conscious. We know that we are actually functioning with 10% consciousness. Yes. And Most of the time, we are driven by our subconscious. Okay? Awareness is to be aware of the world within, inner awareness. What's happening inside of me? What's happening inside of her? Not only the world around us, but the inner world and the outer world. To be aware of what we are doing. Sometimes we say, oh, why did I do that? But it's done. And it has impacted on our values and our goals. Sometimes we do things not being too aware. Awareness is also identifying the roots of our behavior patterns. You may ask, why is she the angry type? Why is she the silent type? Why is she, why does she withdraw from people? You know, the types of things that we see from people around us, there are roots of why a person becomes a certain kind of personality. And we should be aware of that, especially our own selves. Okay? Paying attention to our thoughts and feelings. Do we pay attention to our thoughts and feelings? Or do we just react to a certain situation? And getting in touch with our senses and physiological manifestations. Why did we act the way we do? Did we see something? Did we smell something? Did we hear something that prompted the reactive behavior? Awareness, of course, is being aware of the God within us. Then, allowing the new awareness to change us. Okay? Anthony de Mello says to be aware, to be in touch with oneself, one's body, mind, feelings, thoughts, sensations, is the greatest human gift. Not all living things, not all living organisms have this. That's why we are God's favorite creation. Because we are aware. We can be in touch with ourselves once our body, mind, feelings, thoughts, and sensations. And without awareness, we live our lives on autopilot. What does it mean? We wake up in the morning, have breakfast, go to work, have lunch, maybe a little rest, then work again, go home the afternoon, have dinner, then tomorrow it's like that again, again, and again, and again. Until one day, you come to say, you realize, is this all there is? Ganito lang ba talaga ang buhay? Or until you come to a seminar which tells you that awareness is the first step. If you want to change and you want to go ahead in your personal and spiritual growth. Okay, so coming to awareness is the first step to facilitate the change and growth that we seek. You want healing? It is also 50% of healing. So our goal is to expand our psychological awareness. And our tool in doing this is Erik Erikson's 8 stages of human development. Is there anyone here who's conversant with psychology? Anyway. Erik Erikson, the 8 stages of human development of Erik Erikson is the most used and the most popular in taking up the 8 stages of life. And we use this, I use this in my book and in the workshop as a tool in discovering the 8 stages of human development and how it affects us in our adult life. And also I use Uncovering Our Childhood Wounds from Harville Hendricks. Those are my sources. I'll just summarize the major principle of Erik Erikson. It is in the word epigenesis. Epi, meaning to say Greek word upon, on top, above in space, and genesis as the source, origin, or root. It just means that anything that grows has a ground plan. Out of this ground plan, the parts rise, each part having a special time of ascendancy until all parts have arisen to form a functioning whole. It's like that rosebud. Each petal opens up at a certain time in a certain order. And if we interfere in the natural order of development by pulling a petal forward prematurely, we ruin the entire flower. It's like if you pull up the petals in a rosebud, you'll never see the full blooming of the rose. That also happens in our human development, that it should be according to certain times and according to certain stages. I'd just like us to read this Prayer of the Frog by Anthony de Mello. A woman dreamt. Can we read it together?
A woman dreamt she walked to the grand shop in the marketplace. The first prize was found God behind the counter. What do you sell here? She asked. Everything there part besides said God. Hardly daring to believe what she was hearing, the woman decided to ask her the best thing a human being could wish for. I want peace of mind and love and happiness and wisdom and freedom. Not just for me, but for everyone.
Very legitimate wishes, beautiful wishes, right? What did God say?
I think you got me wrong, my dear. He says, we don't sell fruits here, only seeds.
So what is God telling us? I've given you the seed, and you have to develop and grow. The seed is there. But with our instant culture, we want everything to be instant. We want instant knowledge, we want instant love, we want instant holiness, not only instant coffee. And so, even if we pray, we say, now na Lord, ngayon na. I want it now, Lord. But God says, it's not that way. God never promised a rose garden, nor did He want you to have everything on a silver platter. It's part of our human development that we develop and grow. Psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and He has given us the seed. Okay? So, let me just summarize the stages that we are talking about. Erik Erikson has divided our life or our human development into 8 stages. 8 stages, and this is a predetermined unfolding. We all go through this, right? We have our infancy stage, we have our early childhood stage, we have play age, school age, adolescence, young adulthood. Where are you? 35 to 65 years, adulthood, and old age. All of us pass through that. Okay? And what Erikson says is that there are developmental tasks central at each stage. Meaning to say, for a person or for a child to develop healthily and emotionally, even spiritually, there are tasks that needs to be done at every stage of human development. And there is also a psychosocial crisis at each stage which influences our personality and behavior. It's like there are two opposing forces. In psychology, we call it syntonic and dystonic. It's like, in layman's terms, it's weaknesses and strengths. It's either you develop your vulnerabilities or your weaknesses at certain stages, or you build up your strengths and as you develop through those stages. And you might ask what the psychosocial crisis means. It is really an internal struggle. Of course, we are not aware of this. It is an internal struggle, a turning point, a crucial period of increased vulnerability and heightened potential. Either we become stronger or we feed on our vulnerabilities and the weaknesses are the ones that are being developed. And if the psychosocial crisis is resolved successfully, these are the potential positive outcomes. You will see that even in infancy, we are already developing hope, here, healthy will, purpose, competence, fidelity, love, care, and so on and so forth, up to our old age, where the virtue or ego strength is wisdom. I don't mean here virtues in the religious sense. Virtues more of character strength. So, our character strength, I'm saying, is built up along the way as we grow up in our human development. But there are also potential negative outcomes. If it's not resolved successfully, this will result in maladaptation and malignancy. Potential negative outcomes that will be a problem in your adult life. Okay, I will not go through this. I want to move on because we have very little time. Okay, I'll just go to the second objective. So, what I'm trying to say is we grow and develop in stages. If the psychosocial crisis is resolved, then we build virtues or ego strength. We become stronger at each stage. But if it's unsuccessfully resolved, we also pile up all those weaknesses as we grow along. The other objective of this healing, the 8 stages of life, is holistic healing. Meaning to say that healing has to involve all aspects of our personhood. And I use the self-mandala of Virginia Satir here. You cannot heal just physically or intellectually or emotionally or just by the senses. You have to read all of this in order to heal. So, what I'm saying here is healing cannot be done just by praying. It has to involve all dimensions of our personhood. Okay? So, it involves, and according to Virginia Satir, we have physical, intellectual, emotional, sensual, interactional, nutritional, contextual, and spiritual. Because it interacts with everything. One interacts with all of the other dimensions of our life. So we cannot develop just spiritually, we have to develop in all the dimensions of our personality. That's why I said it is integrated and holistic. Okay? And Your question might be, what is this healing? Why do we need to heal our childhood wounds? Okay? Healing is crucial to enable us to meet the challenges of healthy adult maturing. And childhood experiences play a critical role in the issues of adult life. Do you believe that where you are right now, much of it can be traced to your childhood experiences? Yes? We may not be aware of it, but what we are now as an adult, we can understand better why we do the things we do, we behave the way we do, if we go back to our childhood experiences. That's why it's very, very important to look at our childhood wounds. Why? Because during our lifetime, unresolved childhood issues present themselves for resolution over and over again. The first time, tawag ko dito, yung first time, ang unang putok, adolescence. Because that's the first time that we are out of our parents' protection and caretaking. So you have all these problems with adolescents. It can come up again when you get married or even in the religious state. It can come up again in your midlife crisis. Okay? And hopefully not until old age. I just hope that we have resolved all our issues before we reach old age. Okay. I'm not going to say anymore. Okay. So, understanding our wounds involves recognizing and identifying our wounds. We call it maybe knowing who hurt us, knowing how we were wounded, and knowing the consequences of wounding. Okay? Who hurt us? Family, can be family, can be the workplace. Others, can be the school, can be institutions. But wounds inflicted by parents and family are the deepest and hardest to heal. Why? Because we are too young to understand. It threatened our basic survival. It jeopardized our sense of trust, safety, and security, and it affected our basic sense of self-worth. Let me just say that in all my years of counseling, the most difficult to accompany in terms of healing and growth are those people who have very low sense of self-worth. And that sense of self-worth is either developed during childhood years or inadequately developed. It occurred at a time when we were learning the lessons of life, and of course parents are the role models that shaped our attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. So to come to healing, we need to go back to our childhood experiences. As Soren Kierkegaard says, yes, life must be lived forward, but it can only be understood backwards. So in the healing process, we call it original pain work. We uncover the original pain. We recognize and identify the wounds. We grieve the loss. We express our feeling. We embrace the pain and accept that we were hurt. And finally, forgive those who hurt us. In summary, what I'm saying is childhood memories and experiences holds the key to understanding ourselves. Why am I like this? Why do I behave like this? All of us, none is spared, receive wounds in childhood in varying degrees. And childhood wounds affect our behavior, our decisions, life choices, and your relationships. As Harville Hendricks said, childhood influences everything we are and everything we do. It affects how we make, how we parent, and what kind of society we create. It also affects our mental health. The severity of mental illness is directly determined by the severity and earliness of the parental deprivation that one experienced in childhood. That's why it's that there. Okay, our understanding our roots the key to healing. And you may ask, how did we get wounded? What is this wounding, and how did we get there? In two major ways. Deficient or inadequate nurturing or the process of socialization. I'll try to explain that very quickly. Nurturing. At each stage of development, the child has certain impulses and basic emotional needs. I call them BENS, the acronym. If the caretaker is attuned to the child's needs and able to provide warmth, safety, and sustenance, the child's sense of well-being is nurtured. The infancy stage is foundational, and early childhood years are the most critical in character formation. What are these basic emotional needs? Even we as adults need this. We have these basic emotional needs, but more so for the child that is growing up and developing. Okay? What are these? I call them the 5 A's. Affection, first A. Second A, acceptance. Third A, appreciation. Fourth A, approval. And fifth A, affirmation. We all need this. But more so when we were children, we needed this from our caretakers. And in that inadequate nurturing in these basic emotional needs will not enable us to grow healthily, emotionally, and psychologically. Let me just go through affection. Everybody wants affection, right? Because this is the primal need of skin hunger for tender touch. We don't want to be handled roughly. We want to be handled tenderly, lovingly, and caringly. Okay? We want acceptance, being unconditionally received just as we are. In the last workshop that I had a participant who said, I was never welcome because I was the third boy in our family. And my parents wanted a girl. So from the first day, I was already rejected. So, are we unconditionally received just as we are? If we commit mistakes, are we still received and loved by family? Okay. Appreciation, they say, this is the greatest universal need. Everybody wants to be appreciated. Experience of being special, and we need to be special in at least one person's heart. Approval, being congratulated for success and mastery. The need for parents notice that the task has been accomplished. Try to go back to your childhood, going to school. Maybe you had a project and you come home and say, Mommy, look at this, I did this, I did this. How did your parents respond or react? What's that? Did she appreciate it? Did she approve? Good! What a creative thing you did. Did he say that? Or did he just downplay it? And how did you feel? Okay? Affirmation. the parental act of valuing the child's individuality. I have 7 children. Each of them are unique. You are, what's your sibling order in the order of your family? Were you encouraged to develop your own uniqueness and individuality? Or were you just compared and told to be like this, to be like your eldest brother who's so smart, who's so intelligent, etc., etc. Bring the child to feel, act, and develop his own identity and not merely to conform according to the preferences of parents. Okay? Okay, I'll be quick. We don't have much time. Socialization. This is the manner by which our parents and the surrounding environment socialize us to become acceptable to society. The way our parents were educating us in the ways of the world, messages through instruction and example, praise and punishment, rules on what to do and say, how far and fast to walk, what is permissible to feel, think and do. Why are you crying? Why are you sad? No, not about be sad. Have you heard these things? That we were not permitted to feel the way we feel? And the roles and belief systems that we inherited. Okay? It is just right that our parents should train us, educate us, and teach us how to become a person acceptable to society. But the damage comes as a result of methods employed or from parents themselves who carry their own wounds of socialization. Method. When you did not follow, what happened to you? In this day and age, I have heard the stories of physical punishment and violence to children that really made the child averse in his own behavior after a while, when he was an adult. Other ways, by the ambience of our home lives and parents' marriage, troubled family environment, marital conflict, separation, other sources of marital family stress. How was the family environment? Again, as a counselor, I've experienced the effect that a troubled family environment has on children, especially as they were going through their adolescent years and their adult years. The sad truth is many of us, in one degree or another, did not get in our formative years the ways of love, security, and self-acknowledgement that we needed. So, whatever is not resolved in one stage gets passed along to the next stage or healing. So, what are the effects of bullying? These are now our behaviors. Our defenses and coping mechanisms, block diffuse energies. Why is she like that? She's so devoid of energy. It seems that she doesn't have any energy. Sense of separateness, alienation, and loneliness. Do you see people like this? Fragmentation of self, missing self, or lost self. The accumulating coping mechanisms have a snowball effect, and the earlier in life you get stuck, the more inadequately we handle subsequent stages. To little basic strength, if you are not able to resolve the psychosocial crisis in these stages, will result in core pathology and we become stuck. Question is, are you stuck? Stuck is the psychological word when you cannot move on. No? It's a car in the mud with its wheels spinning, not being able to move from where you are. Are you stuck? Something like this. There's that gentleman over there, he may be your dad. Lady over there, he may be your mom. But, look at this. They have a child within each of them that were not able to grow emotionally, psychologically. So, you may be this and that. A 2 to 3 year old may be making tantrums. And when there is a tantrum from the children, mother and dad should be able to take care of it or handle it. But they cannot because they have a child within themselves, They have a child inside that did not grow emotionally and psychologically. So it's not only the children who are making tantrums, there are 4 children making tantrums already. Okay, you see that? They cannot handle it because they also did not grow up emotionally and psychologically. Having a child within an adult body whose emotional, psychological, and spiritual development was arrested because of unmet emotional needs. This is what we call the wounded child. The wounded child. And he is split, he is lost, and fragmented. And so, the job of healing is to put back and integrate all those lost parts together again. Okay? Healing is a process and task of restoring our original wholeness that was split and broken through distorted ways of caretaking and socialization. Okay, last part. We need to grow into healthy adult people or healthy adult maturity. We need to grow out of our childhood to become mature adults. There are people who may be 50, 55, 60, but still can be a child, emotionally, psychologically. When we see our wounds, we are advised not to wallow in them, or else that we would call that woundology. We just recognize and accept that our wounds affected us, and find along the continuum the golden mean, the healthy balance, or the favorable ratio. It is not about blaming ourselves, blaming our parents, or blaming God. It is moving beyond the stage of dependence on someone else to meet our needs. And it is making the adult decision or choice to grow and to take responsibility for our lives. Okay, so things happen in the past. We may be hurt. But that was because we were not able to fend off for ourselves at the time. But now we are adults and we have the choice. We have the wherewithal to make our own choices. To wallow in our wounds or to grow as a person. To grow spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. We use the psycho-spiritual approach. We have psychology to understand how we became who we are, and spirituality to understand what God meant us to be, and hope that we can become what God meant us to be. Okay? I just want to put that in. In psychology, we understand how we became who we are. In spirituality, we understand what God meant us to be. Okay? Just a little explanation of the psycho-spiritual approach. It's a very integrated approach. It integrates the mysteries of the heart, mind, and soul, explores how thoughts, feelings, and beliefs affect your emotional and spiritual well-being. Remember, Pope Francis, he says, think, feel, do. Why are you doing something? Because you thought of something first, then you felt something, when we did it. Except that sometimes, often many times, we're not aware of the trajectory of where our behaviors are coming from. It focuses on helping your inner wisdom, helping you access your inner wisdom and universal power to become your higher self. Psychology leads us to self-examination, spirituality, to self-realization, and then we can come to the inner splendor of the heart. Okay, to end, childhood memories and experiences holds the key to understanding ourselves. You want to understand yourselves more? Go back to your childhood experiences. All of us receive wounds in childhood in varying degrees, some less so, some more so. If less, then lucky you, bless you. But there are so many of us wounded during our childhood days. And it affects our behavior, decisions, life choices, and relationships. Understanding our wounds is also the key to healing. And I'd like to end with this. The scripture theme of healing the 8 stages of life is, I came that you may have life and have it to the full. Fullness, holiness, wholeness is God's wish for all of us. And we have a motto for our, I hope we can say, for all that has been thanks, and to all that will be yes. And that life breaks us all sometimes, but some grow strong at broken place. This is a path to wholeness, psychological development, healing prayer, and spiritual growth. Okay, that's a journey that we have to take. It's almost 1 o'clock. It's a very brief overview of healing the 8 stages of life. You may want to visit the workshop. I have some brochures over there, and the book itself can help your journey in this inner spirit. Thank you very much. Any questions? Do you have any questions?
Maybe one or two.
Maybe 1 or 2. Yes.
We have a complete workshop for
Oh yes. It's a weekend workshop. It's a weekend workshop, and this is just the intro. And after every stage, there is a talk. There are exercises. There are activities. We go step by step, stage by stage. Yeah. We do it. I have a team. Most of my team are CFAM counselors also. And we do announce it. We do it every 2 months. Regularly, open to the public. But we also give for parishes, for seminarians, for nuns, for priests, and for institutions.
There's a date already for the next one. Do you want to share it?
The next one is November 25 to 27. There are brochures out there together with the books. You might want to pick up one of the brochures. Anything more? I know it's a very, very capsulized introduction, and I wish there were more time.
Sir, under CIS.
The
CIS.
No. Again.
The Parental Center for
No. This is my workshop, although it's promoted by CFAM. I'm one of the senior counselors at CFAM, and our team is composed of CFAM counselors also. Any other? Any good? How about the subject matter? Do you have any questions?
If there are no more questions, thank you very much for attending our 38th Lunch and Learn series. Ma'am Baby, Ate Baby, thank you for being with us here and sharing your insights. Thank you. The next Lunch and Learn series, the 39th, will be next month, second Thursday. Thank you.